Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to our sixth form options evening. I was standing in the door, seeing people going in, and I'm thinking, my goodness, some of these people I remember not just when they were in third form, but in the junior school. So how come we're here now thinking about sixth form? Because the time flies, and that must be an indication that the time flies when you're having fun. Okay, maybe not. Anyway. I do feel that this is the kind of evening that I need to start with an apology, particularly to our students, because not only have we just got you on the route to year 11 to GCSE, but now we kind of throw in sixth form and the year after for you to start to consider. And the reason that we start the conversation so early is because it is just that. It is a discussion, it's a conversation between you, your teachers, your mums and dads as to what the next stage for you is going to be in sixth form here at Sigcot. And hopefully this evening will give you a sense of what the range of options looks like. So unlike GCSE, which is a kind of managed choice, because you have to do your core subjects and then you've got a few options you can take on top of that, in sixth form it is a completely blank canvas. And hopefully today will give you a sense of some of the things that you can do that will kind of play to your strengths and also take you to achieve your goals. And I think those two things are really important, and perhaps important things to take with you when you go across after the presentations to meet with members of staff. Because hopefully by now you've got a sense of what kind of learner you are. Are you the kind of person that really likes exams? If that's the case, then something like A-level is going to be a really good choice for you. If you are somebody who likes to do continuous assessment, to do coursework, and to do all things that you need to do over the course of the 2 years, then maybe BTEC is going to be the right choice for you. Or if you're somebody that just can't quite decide which subjects they want, but wants to keep their options open, then perhaps the IB is going to be a good option for you. And all of these are options here in sixth form at Sigcot. So quite a lot to think about, but hopefully something that will start that whole process of really getting comfortable about where you want to go and how we can support that over the course of the 2 years of sixth form. And really just to sort of end and give you a little bit of a sense of the kind of macro climate, if you like. So this has been an interesting year in terms of public examinations. And I think if you've been catching any of the news reports, you'll know that this was the reset year. The year when the standards reverted to those that were pre-pandemic. And all students were sitting exams. There was really very little concession made to some of the disruption that had taken place during the pandemic. And I think that is a sense of where we're going. I think that probably is going to be a steady state over this year for those who are doing GCSE and also for the next couple of years leading to IB and to A-level and to BTEC. So I guess whether we like it or not, whether we accept it's the right way or otherwise, that is one of the variables that is probably a bit more set. But what isn't set is the world beyond school, and that I think is an exciting landscape for our young people to go into. And hopefully some of the conversations that have started today will not just be about the next 2 years, but also about what lies for you over the horizon beyond Sigcot. And I think one of the metrics that we were most proud of this year was that 95% of our students who left in year 13 got into their preferred choice of course at university. And that's a really something we feel very proud of, because it means that our youngsters who started their courses or are starting their courses this week are going to the places that they genuinely want to go to. And that is something that we work very hard to try and facilitate, and when that happens, we feel very proud and very grateful that we've been able to play a part in that, and very proud of what they're going to achieve in what they do afterwards. So, thank you very much indeed for coming. I'm going to, at this stage, hand over to Mr. Ruddle, but just by way of housekeeping, if you haven't got one of these booklets, if you weren't given one when you come in, please make sure that you pick one up on the way out, because this has got all the information that you are going to require. And once again, thank you very much indeed for coming this evening. I hope you're going to enjoy it, but more importantly, I hope you're going to enjoy the journey that reaches ahead for you over the next few years. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to extend a warm welcome to you here this evening. As Ian said, we're really pleased to have you all here, and this is the start of a conversation over the next few months for students and parents and us as staff about kind of what happens next year. This evening, hopefully you'll get some information, you'll get a bit of an overview now in here, and then in about 20 minutes we'll move over to the library and the sixth form centre where you'll see all the subject staff and again get some more detailed information, but also most importantly have the opportunity to ask lots of questions. So, our sixth form then. Well, our sixth form, or here at Sidcot rather, we have approximately 70 teachers. We have about a dozen maintenance staff that keep the site running, but we also have doctors, solicitors, financial advisors, midwives and architects. Except you can't have an appointment with the doctors yet. You can't get the solicitors to get you off that driving fine yet. Our financial advisors can't sort out your finances just yet, and the midwives can't deliver your baby yet. The architects can't design your extension yet. And that's because we're still working with them. Here at Sidcot, our sixth form team is acutely aware that the final 2 years of formal education is arguably the most formative, and when young people are learning and growing the most. It's a time like no other. Young people are figuring their place in the world out, and we are encouraging them to dream big, to dream dreams, and consider how they're going to impact the world around them. And it's our privilege to play a part in that. We don't take that lightly, and if I'm honest, it's what gets us up in the morning. So, we're very proud here at Sidcot of having a long-lasting reputation for good results. And as Ian just said, we're proud that our students, we can enable our students to move on to higher education, training or employment. But we're really proud that 95% of our students in the summer went to a university of their choosing. That our IB average was considerably better than the world IB average. That 22% of all A-level grades were A star or A, and that 45% were A star to B. We're proud that our BTEC courses have fantastic results with 100% distinction or above in sport and 40% distinction above in business. But it's not just in teaching and learning where we've invested. We've also invested in some fantastic facilities, and these were plans a year ago, but now we've brought them to fruition, and we have some incredible facilities and an environment which I think is second to none. It's an environment that feels more like a university campus than a sixth form centre. And the multi-million-pound budget is an investment in our young people's future. And so, onto the curriculum offer and how our curriculum is broken down into different areas in the sixth form. You've heard me mention, and Ian mentioned, the different types of courses that we offer. So we have A-levels, we have 2 BTEC courses, and we offer the International Baccalaureate Diploma. And before I give you a bit more information about each of those, I just want to highlight the fact that for students who do A-levels or BTEC courses, we have a kind of a stream of electives that go alongside that. So we would encourage students to take an EPQ, an extended project qualification. It's an independent research project that they choose the topic of, and then throughout year 12, they work alongside staff to research and then produce an academic paper. So it's no surprise then that universities really value the EPQ. It's building on skills and knowledge which students who want to go to university and make a real success of doing those things there, it's a great opportunity for them to get to know those skills and practice them. we do a Leeds professional cookery course. So if you're interested in food, cookery, then I would really commend this course to you. Head over to the ground floor of the library and talk to Mr. Meredith if you want to know more about that this evening. And from September 2024, we have a new course in our elective offering, and that's core mathematics. So taught over 2 years, our core mathematics course is a course and certificated in its own right. And we're going to say that students studying an ology A-level, we would thoroughly recommend that they, if they're not doing maths A-level, that they would look at core maths alongside. It will really keep their numeracy skills alive, build upon the GCSE numeracy skills that they have, and with many science-based subjects still requiring good quality numeracy skills that will be examined, we really feel that the core mathematics course, running alongside their A-levels, will really help them attain particularly well in their A-levels. So something to bear in mind there. Okay. So just thinking about specifically those A-levels, they're well known to many of us for being rigorous and having that specialist knowledge in some select subjects. Over 2 years with, like Ian said a moment ago, the vast majority of the assessment being in the form of examination at the end of the course, although some subjects do have a coursework element. They're excellent preparation for university, and most of our students choose 3 plus one of those elective courses. I'm going to hand over to Matt Lloyd and Alex Licorice, who are going to give you a bit of information about the BTECs that we offer.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to do a bit of myth busting first. Back when I first started teaching, and in fact when I just finished education, people who were on BTECs were sort of seen as the ones that if they wrote their name on the front of it, they got the course, and that has changed now, very much, and I'm pleased to say. Back a few years ago when I introduced the BTECs to, in a meeting with Mr. Kilpatrick, I was very, very excited about it. BTECs now are much, much more rigorous. And as a result, the sport programme has been really, really well attended. So I'm going to do a little bit of myth busting first of all. So the BTEC course is less or no exams. And I think, if, like Mr. Kilpatrick said earlier on, if we're thinking about the type of learner you are, and if you are the sort of person who doesn't really like having to learn and then have everything hinged on that end result in 2 years' time, then the BTEC course is for you. There is continual assessment and a variety of assessments throughout the 2 years as well. And because it's based around a vocational type experience, it does provide real life experience as a result. So we do speak and talk and visit places and see these things and have visitors come in and see and talk about the actual world of work that these courses are aimed at. And I'll talk about sport in particular in a moment. But real life practical tasks and that progression to university, that's the question I get most of the time, is that how do universities see it? Well, actually the universities see it as another set of A-level results, another set of results, because it is A-level standard that we are working on. The BTEC is a level 3 course, as are the A-level courses. So it's exactly the same and seen exactly the same, and including those Russell Group universities, they see it as good progression to a number of courses. And the good thing about BTECs, and the thing that I always find really helpful, is that if you submit an assignment, you have an opportunity to revisit that assignment and have a go and resubmit that assignment. So that you have a chance to better your grade. And that is the world that we live in, isn't it? That's what happens in the normal world of work. That actually have a chance to have a look through, to get feedback and respond to that feedback. And so that's why we feel BTEC is a really, really important thing. And our 2 BTEC courses are BTEC Business and BTEC Sport. And it's a level 3 diploma. It's worth 2 A-levels. And so the grading for that is pass, merit and distinction star. And they equal, as it sort of says there, it equals a nice mirror to the A-level results as well. So distinction star distinction is the same as an A star, and holds exactly the same points when it comes to UCAS forms. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Licorice, who's going to talk briefly about BTEC Business.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. Okay, just a minute about BTEC Business. It's a really practical course that gives you hands-on experience and skills that really help you in your further education career, if you're doing an apprenticeship, or if you're starting or working for a business after SIGPA. So on the board are some of the units that we do. I'll tell you about some of the trips and speakers we have with those units. So we do something called Exploring Business, and we use Thatchers. We go to Thatchers for that part of the course and speak to their management there. We do a marketing course, developing a marketing campaign, and we use a escape room company, and we go there and we have a look at their marketing campaigns there. We do a finance unit, understanding personal finance, and as well as business, accounting finance as well. So really, really useful skills and knowledge. We do an event management unit where students organise and run their own events. And in the past, it's been a Race for Life, it's been a business school trip to London to see other companies in London. We learn about international business and do a trip to the world travel market there. We learn about principles of management, managing business, managing people in business. And we do a unit on recruitment and selection. We go to a helicopter manufacturer for that unit and learn about how they recruit staff, how they retain staff, how they select staff. And then finally, team building. And we do one of the most fun ones, we do a raft building competition there. And we learn such useful team building skills there. So I hope that gives you an overview, but please come and talk to us about BTEC Business if it interests you.
And then BTEC Sport, very, very quickly. I absolutely love the BTEC Sport programme, and I love teaching it because it provides actual real-life experiences, thinking about some of our sporting students and what they might like to go on to. And again, here's an idea of some of the activities and units that we take part in. And yes, we go to Cadbury House. We do a nice business and sport unit where we look at the business of sport, and we join in with the business group as well. We do some work together over at Cadbury House. We go to Bath University, and the opportunities here with the junior school to put some of the things that we've learned into practice, like sports leadership, like refereeing, all of those things that are really good bits of work. But there is a range of things that we do that include a bit of sports science, sport physio, sport injury management, as well as understanding the wider sociological picture of sport as well. And we give you a nice t-shirt as well that says BTEC Sport. Thank you. Timon said he'd give me a clap, but he clearly didn't, so thanks.
The BTEC courses that we have on offer, and that just leaves IB. And I would say that when I came to SIGCOP, I didn't know much about the IB. It wasn't on offer in the previous schools that I'd worked in, and I really enjoyed getting to know the IB. And over the last few years, well, let me put it this way. I think if I was going to start SIGCOP next September, I think personally I would choose the IB. I would encourage you, if you don't know much about it, to scratch the surface and really kind of look underneath the bonnet here. Rather than 3 subjects, students choose 6. It has more breadth. But it's not just about the subjects, because the diploma has some things that are baked into it. There's an extended essay, an individual research assignment, an academic paper that students produce on a topic of their choice. And that sounds familiar. That's because it's very similar to the EPQ that our A-level and BTEC students might opt for as an elective. And so our IB students are also looking at the theory of knowledge, a philosophical look at how and why we take on knowledge and learn things. There's CAS, which is also built into the IB, creativity, activity and service. So our IB students are doing some creative activities, they're being active, they're being part of a sports team or doing some kind of physical activity, and the service element, they're giving back to their community, perhaps through volunteering somehow. So there's a lot more to the IB than just the subjects. I encourage you to check it out. Stefania Cowley will be in the bottom of the library, the ground floor of the library, And she's there on our list of other members of staff that you might want to talk to this evening. Stefania is the IB coordinator. As well as myself and Stefania, I have a team of 13 very experienced tutors who follow students through year 12 and then on through to the end of year 13. I have a deputy in the sixth form, Dr. Balaska, and then we also have Alison Pike, who's here with us this evening and is just going to say a few words in a moment. She's head of careers in higher education. And Claire Winchester Snell, she's head of our languages department, but she is also head of academic enrichment in the sixth form. So she oversees our scholars and our lead learners in the sixth form. And last but not least, Dr. Jeff Andrews, he leads the EPQ. So if you wanted to know more about EPQ, Dr. Andrews is also in the ground floor of the library. So, Alison is going to come and just share with us. She's such an important member of staff for our students here at SICOP as a higher education, careers and guidance counsellor. And as students progress through the sixth form, they always find themselves at your door, don't they?
Yeah.
So please, come and share with us.
But then that's why I say I have the best job here, because it's one of the nicest places to be. I would see careers as really genuinely, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey that your students are taking. And as a result of that, we, as you know, embed careers in the lower school, very much so, in terms of part of Let Your Life Speak, or in Carousel, or in every different type of way it can be included, because all of those skills are so important. But as we come into the sixth form, it's a much more individual experience, because we have so many destinations. And I've put a, you'll do it right. And you can see, the big words mean more people went there, and the smaller words, obviously less people chose that destination. And it changes year on year. So we have to be really super, super flexible with all of you to meet the needs you want. And that means about having aspirational destinations, not saying we just only celebrate those who go to the top 5 thing. It's about every single individual, and that's why we like to connect with you on a one-to-one basis. So I'm super lucky because I have an office at the top of the library, and people can pop in, ask me questions, have a longer appointment, and it means that as we go through, these destinations become your destinations. This year we fitted with the national average sort of picture, and loads of young people who are really confident about taking the step on a planned year abroad. We had a few who've gone to apprenticeships, and we have some amazing destinations in terms of universities, both in the UK and abroad. So wherever you want to go, we want to help you get there, and we'll flex the programme to do that. I'll be at the top of the library if anyone has any questions, and I'm really looking forward to working with you.
So in terms of moving on and transitioning from GCSE into sixth form, we're asking for a minimum of 5 standard GCSE passes, that's 5 grade 4s. But in certain subjects that you would like to study, we are saying that a grade 5 and above is required. And then Mr. Lloyd and Mr. Licorice for your BTEC courses are also looking for you to have a positive attitude and be able to collaborate with other people, have good teamwork skills, good literacy and verbal presentation skills. So what is the process over the next few weeks and months? Well, we are here obviously tonight, that's the start of the options process, but it's certainly by no means the end. Before half term, each year 11 and pathway student will get an interview, a progression interview with a member of the senior management team. And that's just another opportunity for them to ask questions and for us to support their decision making. After October half term, we have a sixth form taster day, where students will be sixth formers for the day, and we will we'll ship our year 12s out, they're going to visit a university, and then we will find a space for, give us a space for Year 11 to become sixth formers for the day. They will come in their kind of casual clothes, they will use all the sixth form spaces, and they will take sixth form taster sessions that they have chosen. Then towards the middle of next half term, in sort of November time, we will send out a letter and a Microsoft form asking you what your intentions are in terms of subject. See, that will give us an idea of where we can put our option blocks and how we can start to structure the bare bones of our timetable for next year. And then in the spring term, we ask you to do that again with perhaps a bit of a firmer idea, and by that point we'll have our option blocks, we'll take those in and we'll start processing those around Easter time. Now that means that the Year 11 students can then focus on their GCSEs and their revision in the summer term. Just also a reminder that for existing fifth form students, there is a loyalty discount that follows through, so the fees remain at fifth form levels. We also have a scholarship programme in the sixth form, so just a reminder that we have a deadline for that of the 31st of October. If you'd like to know more about scholarships in the sixth form, then please just grab one of the members of staff on the way out and we can give you some more information. Right, I feel like I've talked enough, and I'd like you to hear not from the staff this time, but from some students. So I'd love to invite 3 sixth formers to join me at the front, and you can hear from them. Good evening, guys, and would you like to tell everyone who you are, which year you're in, and which course and subjects you're doing? Alex, can you go for it?
Yep, volume good. No. I'm Alex, I'm in year 12, and I've just started the IB, 3.5 weeks in now. I'm doing higher level maths, psychology and economics, and standard level chemistry, English and Italian.
I'm Ottilie, and I'm in upper sixth doing A-levels. So currently I'm studying photography, geography, religious ethics and philosophy, and just finished my EPQ.
I'm Nati, I'm doing BTEC Business and Accounting, and I'm in year 13.
That's great, thanks. And well, you might as well hold on to that, Natty, but you can go first. Natty, Otti, you were sat here 2 years ago, and Alex, you were sat here a year ago. If you can think back and remember, what was the decision-making process like for you? How did you decide upon the courses that you're doing now?
I didn't really like exam-based so much, and then they were talking about the BTEC and how hands-on and practical it was, and I spoke to some of the people who were a year above us who were doing BTEC, and they kind of said how it's a lot more practical and not really exam-based, and that's kind of how I picked.
So can I follow that up and say, are you happy for any year 11s to grab you maybe in the lunch queue or something and ask you lots of questions about it?
Yeah.
Well, when choosing sixth form for me, it was quite difficult, I'd say. I've been at sixth form since year 6, so it was definitely, I felt like I needed a bit of change. But after looking at quite a few other schools, it was about 2 days before school started that I decided, hang on, I actually want to stay, which did cause a bit of stress, but it was definitely the best decision I could have made. And when choosing the A-levels, I kind of looked at my GCSEs, not really at the grades I got, but more of how interested I was in the subject. Kind of cancelling out my friends in it, I really looked at the learning and I thought, this is what I'm really most interested in, and decided to do that for my A-levels.
I was probably in a similar situation to quite a lot of you, where I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do for sixth form. I don't know what I wanted to do for university, nothing like that. So I decided I wanted to keep my options open for as long as possible. And after looking at the IB and hearing Mr. Ruddle and some of the current IB students talking about it, I decided that it would be a good challenge, and I like the broadness of the subjects on offer, and that I wouldn't have to narrow down to 3 A levels. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. You know, Otti, I think you kind of mentioned and touched on it a little bit there, but what are you finding the main differences, 5th form to 6th form? What are the main differences for you?
I mean, I've only been a sixth former for a few weeks, but I'm quite enjoying having a bit more freedom around the day. Study periods, definitely loving those. Those are a nice addition to every day. And yeah, I think I wouldn't say less restrictive, but you definitely have a lot more freedom in how you can conduct yourself, how you do your learning, and the home clothes are nice too as well.
I think for me, the biggest change from 5th form is definitely my subjects. I think I was awful at maths and English, and it was horrible because I found it very difficult. But in A-levels, when choosing the subject you actually want, you gain so much more interest in learning it. And I think that's what's really made me appreciate learning and really made me appreciate school, is because, I don't know, I've just gained such more interest in my subjects. But as well as that, it's everyone mixing together, it's the common room, it's the free periods, like you said. Yeah, study periods, if I should call it. But it's been amazing, and yeah, definitely recommend it.
I think one of the biggest changes for me is probably how much work you have to do out of the lesson. It's a lot of, in the lesson, you know, you have, if you're doing 3 A levels or a BTEC and an A level, you have something like 12 or 13 lessons a week, and the rest are all study periods. And you have a lot more work to do outside of those lessons, and you can't think of them as much as free periods, which is what probably a lot of people, or a lot of us did in year 12, where you just kind of just sit in the common room. But you actually have to put in a bit more work outside. But another thing is the relation between the student and the teacher, because I think it's a lot more like formal, and you can have a conversation with your teacher about like other things, and not necessarily just asking for like your homework or something like that.
Thank you. Obviously, throughout sixth form, you've got your subjects, and you're gaining knowledge, and I guess, like you just said, really getting into those subjects and enjoying them more. How have you grown as people, from say the start of sixth form? And Alex, you've only, this is week 4 for you, so it might be tricky for you to answer, but particularly Otti and Natalie, how have you changed as a person over the last sort of year or so?
I think it's kind of what I said, in the sense of that more independence with work, and having to, you're not going to have a teacher kind of always tap you on your shoulder and tell you to, get off whatever you're on, if you're on a different app or something. But it's that kind of, you have to have that self-motivation to, in your study periods, instead of go and have hot chocolate, you actually go and sit and do that assignment that you need to do. And that only really comes with when you enjoy the subject. If I was doing a science right now, I wouldn't do it in my study periods, but it's because I enjoy the subjects, and I find myself more wanting to get the work done, get ahead and doing it and becoming a bit better.
I would probably say that I've kind of developed much stronger relationships with my teachers. So they've just, I feel like they know everyone in the class very well. But as well as that, it's called more the respect you have around school. I don't know, in year 11 and 10, you're kind of wanting to be a bit like a troublemaker and stuff. Whereas in sixth form, when you've got the office holder positions and you've kind of, you want to gain some respect for the school, and it just gives you a nice role.
I've been here a long time. I think I'm nearly finishing my 14th year at this point. But I think already in the 3-4 weeks since the year started, it's been one of the biggest jumps for me as a person, because already at the start of sixth form, there's a lot more you have to work on yourself in terms of organisation and time management, which I think, especially for the IB, is probably one of the most key skills that you need to have and you need to develop. And I think that's definitely going to be a really useful skill later on for university and past then, but it's also just a great thing to have and to develop.
Nice, thank you very much. So I did share the questions with these three about 10 minutes before you all came in. But this is unrehearsed and this is their thoughts. So I'd like just to give you a round of applause first. Thank you. So in a moment we'll move from here, give you a chance to stretch your legs, and we'll head over to the library under the tunnel and then round and through. There'll be staff for different subjects. You can see on the board behind me we have some subjects represented on the ground floor of the library, the top floor of the library, and throughout the sixth form centre. So as you walk through the top of the library, keep going, there'll be some study areas, so you'll get a chance to see the facilities, the sixth form centre, and I'd encourage you to keep on going around the corner where there will be refreshments in the common room for you. And then further still into the next corridor where business studies, economics, accounting and BTEC sport will be. So that's kind of the layout. Just before we go, hand back to Ian.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thanks very much, particularly to our student panel. It's the thing that always makes me most proud, and I'd say most humble, is when we hear from our students just what being SICOP means to them. And I think when all's said and done, with all the courses that we offer, the most important thing that we do is hopefully give young people the opportunity to be themselves and to find that authentic voice that will take with them long after they leave school. And I think it was the French philosopher Descartes who said that they described a school as 4 walls around the future. And maybe that's something to take with you as you go over to the library and you speak to members of staff. Think about your future, think about what you want to do in the next 2 years and beyond, but more importantly, think about who you want to be and what you want to achieve in life. So I hope that you're going to enjoy this evening. I hope you're going to find it exciting. I look forward to seeing people up in the fantastic new Sixth Form Centre having a refreshment. Thank you very much for coming this evening.
I stumbled over it.